All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video titled, Amidst All the Prophecies Unfolding, Don't Forget About the Famine. Okay. So 2024 is turning out to be one hell of a year, isn't it? Okay. I mean, we're seeing a lot of prophecies unfold just within the first 2 months of this quote-unquote calendar year, 2024, right? And really the major two prophecies that we're really seeing, of course, is the wars and rumors of wars, right? And, of course, the talk of the quote-unquote chip or the MOTB, right? And, of course, we're seeing changes in the weather patterns and things like that. Just everything that Yahushua said that we would see before his second coming is starting to unfold, okay? But, as the title says in this thumbnail, amidst all the prophecies unfolding, don't forget about the famine, okay, which is another major prophecy, right? Now, of course, we know we have the famine of the word, but this particular famine that I'm talking about is a famine of food and drink, okay? So that's actually what we're going to talk about in this particular video, okay? And this video that I'm doing is, of course, inspired partly by a video I stumbled across, it was last week, from the YouTube channel Epic Economist, right? So in that particular video, they start talking about the up and coming famine, right? So what I want to do is I want to actually watch that video and actually, give my critique, right? And of course, get into the scriptures a bit, then bring this video to a close, right? Because again, out of all the prophecies we're seeing unfold, like I said just a few minutes ago, we cannot forget about the famine. You better believe that is coming as well. And we have to prepare for it, right? So, without further ado, let's get into the video, okay?
While many of us are scrolling through social media or catching up on the latest celebrity gossip, millions of people around the world are silently battling hunger. It's a crisis of staggering proportions, yet it rarely makes the headlines. As we're busy following the lives of our favorite stars, a silent catastrophe is happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, and social media is a big problem. Okay, like he was saying here in the video, social media is meant to be a big distraction, and that's exactly what it is. Social media is a distraction for the average person, especially the average female. Okay, it's a big distraction, but that's partly what it was created for. Okay, or what it's used for right now. Okay, to really keep the average person. And really the focus is us, the children of Israel, to keep us oblivious to the prophecies unfolding. Okay, because like he said, famine is a big problem around the world. Okay, and because people live so privileged here in America, aka Babylon the Great, right? People don't really believe that type of hunger or that type of famine can actually happen here, because people live so comfortably and privileged here in America. But you better believe, according to prophecy, this place is going to get hit with famine. Okay, and it's right around the corner, right? But anyway, let's get back to it.
The United Nations World Food Programme warns that we're facing a food crisis like never before. It's time to shift our focus and start talking about the issues that really matter. This video won't be the silver bullet to fix our troubled world, but every change begins with a small action. and yours began after you pressed the play button. Now let's get started. War, economic panic, extreme weather, and expensive fertilizer prices are coming together to ignite a devastating food crisis.
Yeah, and when you look at everything that he just listed, the majority of things that he just listed, you can read about in prophecy. Okay? So all these things coming together are basically going to be a trickle-down effect that's going to lead to this devastating food crisis, aka famine. Okay, that's how you know this place really is spiritual Egypt. Okay, when you go back to the time of Moses, just look at all the plagues that hit ancient Egypt. Each the plagues were really a trickle down effect, one of another, that led to another plague and things of that nature. Well, the same thing is going to happen here. Okay, all these things listed here is really leading up, or is being a trickle down effect that's leading to a famine. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to the video.
More than 750 million people are grappling with chronic hunger, not just skipping meals occasionally, but enduring relentless hunger pains. To put it bluntly, that's more than twice the population of the United States. In regions like Sudan, widespread starvation is already a harsh reality due to the ongoing conflict hindering aid delivery. Unfortunately, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Global hunger has been worsening for almost a decade.
Now, look at this particular chart, okay? It says regions where undernourishment increased. And notice it listed Africa and Latin America, okay? Two places where there are a lot of our people at, okay? Israelites, right? We know that there's a remnant of our people that's still in Africa today, right? And we know the majority of the northern kingdom is throughout Latin America, okay? So these are two of the places where this undernourishment has increased, okay? A lack of food, right? So if that be the case, what makes you think that it's not going to happen here in America, or that it can never happen here in America, okay, where the vast majority of the Israelites are, okay? But anyway, let's get back to it.
And now food supplies are diminishing even further. Reports suggest that the global rice shortage is about to get even worse, adding to the mounting challenges faced by vulnerable communities worldwide. Millions of people are in danger right now. As the Middle East erupts in violence, the international rice trade faces disruptions due to surging shipping costs and decreasing supplies. India, the world's largest exporter of rice, has encountered multiple challenges in its rice sector, such as policy uncertainties, high domestic prices, container shortages, droughts, and trade bans. And as if these were not enough, the Israel-Gaza war has made things worse, as it has increased the cost of shipping rice across the world.
Y'all see that? That's why when you go into, Exodus, I want to say 15, it says that the Lord is a man of war, right? Yahweh is a man of war, right? And one war tactic, rather, is to use famine against whatever country you're fighting against. Okay, that's actually a war tactic. Okay, starve them out, right? So if you look at this thing on a broader scale, the Most High really is using this war between Israel and Gaza to do what? To basically slow down or stop the shipping of food, or in this case, rice. Okay, but pretty soon it's not going to just be rice. Okay, but yeah, due to this war, it's slowing down the shipping of rice. Okay, that's what war does. It's a trickle-down effect. Okay, the Most High is an expert at war. Okay, and these nations don't even know that they're basically pawns in the Most High's game. Okay, for lack of a better term, right? But anyway, let's get back to it.
This is a nightmare for many people who depend on rice for their food. And it's not just rice. Cocoa is facing tough times too. Cocoa prices have hit a 46-year high in New York because of fears about poor cocoa crops in West Africa. The strong winds that are blowing across the region could dry cocoa fields and reduce yields for the Ivory Coast mid-crop in April. This could tighten global cocoa supplies even more. Reports say cocoa futures in New York jumped up to 2.2%, reaching $4,961 per ton, marking a huge 126% increase since September 2022. These big price increases could mean higher costs for big chocolate companies like the Hershey Company, adding to the fear and tension in the global food market. If you're a fan of chocolate, you might still find some bargains at dollar stores, but they won't last long. You better grab them fast. But even if you manage to stock up on some cheap chocolate, your enjoyment might be short-lived. Climate change poses a serious threat to the future of cocoa production, with rising temperatures, droughts, pests, and diseases making it harder for cocoa trees to survive and thrive.
Didn't we say that these prophecies would be a trickle-down effect that would lead to famine? Right? First we talked about the war, okay, and how that's being a trickle-down effect. Now it's going into the weather. Okay, this video is going into how the weather is having an effect on cocoa. Okay, and we already know that, changes in weather is a part of the quote-unquote prophecies of Yahweh's second coming as well. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
A recent study suggests that over half of the world's cocoa growing regions could become unsuitable for cultivation by 2050. This could lead to a massive shortage of cocoa beans and a possible extinction of some of the rarest and finest varieties of chocolate. The situation has reached such a critical point that some experts are sounding the alarm for a worldwide effort to rescue the cocoa industry and the millions of farmers who rely on it to make ends meet. They're urgently calling on governments, businesses, and individuals to invest in research, innovation, and sustainable practices to save the cocoa industry. If we don't act soon, we may face a bleak future where one of our most cherished and delightful treats and a source of joy and comfort for many people is gone forever. So the next time you bite into a piece of chocolate, remember that it might be one of the last ones you ever taste. Meat is also going to get more expensive in the coming months. The bird flu is decimating millions of chickens and turkeys, and the U.S. cattle herd has shrunk to its lowest level since 1951.
So now we're moving on to poultry and meat. Okay, you heard, again, that's another plague, the bird flu. The bird flu, as he just said, has now killed millions of chickens and turkeys, right? Then he said about the cattle, the population of cattle has shrunk to its basically lowest level since 1951. Okay, so again, so there's like the article just said, there's going to be a shortage of meat, most likely in the coming months in 2024. Okay, but we'll see how this thing unravels. But again, the famine is right around the corner. Right? But anyway, let's continue.
As ranchers continue to send cows to slaughter, the U.S. cattle count has dropped to just 87.2 million as of January 1st. That's down from about 2% from the previous year. That is the smallest animal count since 1951, according to USDA data. This terrible drop is expected to keep beef prices high for consumers for at least the next couple of years, while destroying the profits for meat processors. But the meat industry is not the only one suffering from the effects of the bird flu. The poultry sector is also facing devastating effects, with millions of birds culled or died due to the virus, A crisis has engulfed poultry farms. This has led to a shortage of eggs, which are essential for many food products and recipes.
I see a trickle-down effect due to another plague. Okay? Bird flu equals less chickens. Less chickens equals less eggs. Less eggs equals less food that requires eggs to basically make said food. Okay, so again, the Most High is a master orchestrator in this thing. Okay, this is his movie, right? So America needs to prepare because, again, this famine is on its way. And it's going to hit this place, and this place is not going to be prepared because, again, most people live comfortably, okay? And that spirit of pride that comes with America is on most people. Most people don't think that this place will ever fall, but it will, okay? So let's continue.
Egg prices have climbed by more than 50% in some regions. Some supermarkets have imposed limits on how many eggs customers can buy. The egg industry is losing billions of dollars. Many farmers are struggling to survive. The situation is so bad that some people are resorting to extreme action to get their hands on some meat or some eggs. They are stealing. They are robbing. They are hurting others for these products.
Sounds a lot like 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter to me. I believe it's 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, because the storehouses are going to be empty, okay, and there's going to be a lack of food and basically the bare necessities for, everyday living. These types of things are going to be happening. People are going to be breaking into their neighbors' houses, okay, basically, plundering everything and, taking what they need, okay, without any regard for their quote unquote fellow man. Okay, just roughly paraphrasing, but that's going into I believe it's 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. Okay, maybe 15, but I believe it's the 16th chapter, right? But most likely we'll get into it at the end of this video. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
Desperation drives people to pay a lot of money on the black market, while others gamble with their well-being by consuming expired or tainted meat and eggs. But why should we be concerned? After all, back in 1951, when there were 150 million people in the country, Americans were doing just fine with their food. But today, it's not 150 million anymore. We have a population of 331 million. And there's barely enough beef to go around for each person.
So, of course, this is going to pose a problem. Okay, like he was just saying in the video, there was a similar problem with the meat shortage back in 1951. But the issue is, back in 1951, there were far less people in America. Okay, so it wasn't as big of an issue. But today, that number is pretty much almost doubled, I believe. Okay, so it's more people in America and far less meat to go around. So, of course, that's going to pose a problem. Okay, equaling what? Famine. Right? But anyway, let's get back to it.
And it's not just a matter of supply and demand, there's an agenda at play. The global elite are pushing for less meat consumption as a solution to climate change. The director of the World Health Organization is taking a stand against meat and traditional farming practice, all in the name of fighting climate change. He claims that our food systems are destroying the health of people and planet. Food systems are responsible for over 30% of greenhouse gas emissions and cause almost 1/3 of the global burden of disease.
How in the hell is that even a correlation? The food system is basically the cause of what? Climate change? That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, but you know what? I got to do it.
Sit your ass down.
I'm sorry, but again, this makes no sense at all. Okay, and it's like the gentleman in this video, the epic economist, It's like he said, there has to be an agenda here, okay, by these so-called powers that be, because there's really no correlation here. Okay, it's like they almost want this famine to come. Okay, and really, again, it's all a part of the Most High's plan. This is his movie. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
We have no choice but to transform food systems by shifting towards healthier, diversified, and more plant-based diets. Are you prepared for a diet filled with soy and insects? That's the future they have in store for you. In a desperate attempt to control climate change, researchers funded by the elite are proposing absurd solutions. Take this one, for example. Climate scientists want to make a huge umbrella the size of Argentina to block out the sun and fight global warming. This absurd idea comes from Israeli researchers.
And of course, it's the 1948ers that's coming up with this absurd idea,
Who assert the 1 million square mile cover could drop the Earth's temperature by 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 years. Yep, you heard that right. The team at Technion Israel Institute of Technology is searching for up to $20 million for a prototype of 100 square feet, which they said could be done by 2027. But hold on a minute, we're already struggling to feed the world's population, and now they want to block out the sun with a colossal umbrella? Can you imagine the catastrophic impact on global food production? According to a study by the University of California, Berkeley, blocking the sun's rays would not save the crops from global warming, but rather doom them.
right? Don't crops and like anything plant-based need sunlight in order to grow? Okay, these people, they claim to be so smart, but again, they've become fools. Okay, this is simply ridiculous.
The researchers found that the cooling of the planet would be outweighed by the devastation of crop yields due to lower solar radiation. Not only that, blocking the sun would also destroy the natural rhythms of day and night, seasons, and also weather patterns. This would ruin the growth and reproduction of plants and animals, as well as the balance of ecosystems. Some plants depend on the length of daylight to flower and to fruit, while some animals use the sun as a signal for migration and hibernation. Blocking the sun would disorient and harm these organisms and possibly wipe them out.
And this is exactly why the scriptures say that the Lord is going to destroy them that destroyeth the earth, as it says in Revelation, the 11th chapter. Okay, and we know who they are that destroyeth the earth, right? It's the same people that you read about in the book of Daniel, I believe the 7th chapter, that thought to change times and laws. Okay, the children of Edom, right? But anyway, let's continue.
And what if something goes wrong with this giant umbrella? What if it malfunctions, breaks, or falls? How would we deal with the disastrous side effects like ozone depletion, acid rain, or volcanic eruptions? How would we prevent it from becoming a weapon of mass destruction, exploited by rogue states or terrorists to manipulate the climate and to cause chaos? These are the pressing questions we must consider before it's too late. The ruling class also has plans for what we'll be drinking. In fact, if you call Los Angeles home, get ready to taste the refreshing flavor of water that's been recycled from the toilet.
Y'all looking forward to that? Drinking piss and dung water? Because that's what the so-called powers that be have in store for the average person here in America. Okay, let's actually continue. Let's see what this article has to say here.
So if you live in Los Angeles, California, and drink tap water, you may want to think again. Starting this December, the California State Water Resource Control Board has approved a new plan aiming to recycle a significant 60% of LA's sewage water, grimly named toilet to tap. The sewage water will be sent to a treatment facility before being circulated back into Los Angeles homes once it meets the city's purity standards. Sounds delightful, doesn't it?
And I mean, it's not like tap water is the healthiest thing to drink anyway. Tap water right now is already disgusting. But the fact that they're actually admitting that they're actually going to take sewage water and actually try to purify it and give it to people to drink, the fact that they're actually admitting that they want to do this, that that shows you how bad of shape this place is in. Okay. Again, soon there's going to be a lack of not just food, but drink as well. Okay. But anyway, let's continue.
Obviously, none of the methods and plans that the elite are carrying out will be able to shift our path. We're heading into the most dreadful period of disorder in all of human history, and millions of Americans are anxiously preparing for what is ahead of us. Coming up next is a brilliant article by Kay Smythe. A recent study revealed that a majority of individuals in certain regions of the U.S. and Canada have taken steps to ready themselves for the downfall of the world over the past year. Are you even remotely surprised?
And that says a lot. Okay, that really says a lot, because you got to understand the majority of people are not in this knowledge. Okay, they're not privy of the truth of the scriptures, but yet these people in question still understand that, stuff is about to hit the fan, that it's about to get bad out here, right? And I guarantee you most of these people that this article is talking about, they don't understand the scriptures. Okay, but according to prophecy, yes, it's about to get bad out here. Okay, once Jacob's trouble, really takes flight, we're pretty much in the beginning stages of it, but once it really takes flight, yeah, people are going to understand just how bad it is. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to it.
Over 40% of people in states like Maine, Nebraska, Arizona, over half of those in Ontario and British Columbia, are gathering supplies like food, water, fuel, weapons, preparing for a big disaster in North America. But lots of others don't see the danger coming.
Because most of those people have adopted the prideful spirit that comes with America, aka Babylon the Great, that you read about in the scriptures. Okay, they've adopted that prideful spirit, that spirit of I sit a queen and shall not see widowhood. Okay, as you read about in Revelation, the 18th chapter. But when you read that chapter, in fact, we might get it in a few minutes here. But when you actually read that chapter, it talks about all the things that's going to happen to this, self-proclaimed queen, which is America. Okay, and within that is famine. Famine is going to hit this place, believe it or not. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
They're just going about their lives, not realizing how serious things are getting. America is in big trouble, and very few people want to admit it. As I told Jesse Kelly on the 1st, we don't make stuff that other countries want to buy, except maybe for new seasons of The Chosen. We rely on buying most of our stuff from other countries, and with the financial mess from COVID-19 and bad decisions by politicians since 2008, there's a good chance we won't be able to buy anything in the future. Besides hoarding food and supplies, many people are also getting underground bunkers built on their properties,
which is also prophesied about in the scriptures. Okay, mainly dealing with the so-called elites of this world. Okay, about how they would have these underground bunkers to try to basically evade the destruction to come, right? I believe you actually read about that in the book of Job. Okay, brothers can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's in the book of Job. It actually talks about that, okay? But the Bible lets us know that that's not going to help them. Okay, they still gonna get got. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to it.
According to Fox Business, clients of USA Bunker Company, including government officials and White House staff, have lost faith in the government's ability to protect them. Others seek shelter from natural disasters like tornadoes or accidents such as toxic train derailments, but the majority fear nuclear warfare,
which is also prophesied about in the Bible. Okay, nuclear warfare is prophesied about all throughout the Bible, right? We go to the last chapter in the Bible, the book of Revelation. It talks about 3 woes. Okay, woes, W-O-E-S. Okay, it talks about, and I believe it's in Revelation, the 11th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and as we know, 2 woes have passed, right? And when we say woes, it's actually talking about world wars. Okay, and the Bible tells us that 2 woes have passed, and behold, a 3rd woe cometh, or a 3rd world war. Okay, and after that, you don't read about any more woes. There's not a 4th woe. There's not a 5th or a 6th or a 7th woe. There's only 3. Okay, so this is dealing with what? 3 world wars that's prophesied about in the Bible. And the 3rd woe cometh, and it cometh quickly. Okay, it's right around the corner, right?
Many of them are living in fear and anxiety. They're ready to spend millions of dollars to build their own underground prisons, filled with all the comforts and pleasures they can buy. Despite assurances from the elite, it's clear they've lost control. Their systems are crumbling. Global events are spiraling out of control. If you haven't prepared for what's coming, I strongly urge you to do so. 2024 will be a significant turning point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not have put that better myself. 2024 is going to be a significant turning point. Okay, because again, you have to look at this from a spiritual and a biblical vantage point. Okay, this is the year 2024. Okay, that number 24 is significant. Okay, it has that vibration of 12 on it. Okay, 12 plus 12 is 24. The number 12 represents what? The 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, and also not to mention, when you read about Yahweh Shai, and when he talked about all the signs of his second coming, when the 12 disciples asked him what would be the signs of his second coming, he talked about that in Matthew chapter what? Chapter 24. Okay, you have to really pay attention to these things. Okay, but I'm really considering doing a video about that. Okay, I probably will, Lord willing, in the very near future. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
So, what do you think about the doomed fate of America and the world? Do you see any hope on the horizon? Are you prepared for the horrors that await in 2024? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, this is the moment where I can recommend some of our awesome videos for you to watch next, but to be honest, I don't want to do that because every single video on this channel is a gem. I'd say just browse them all and see for yourself. Go ahead, check the channel out. Trust me, you won't regret it. And before you go, if you loved this video, maybe hit the like button and share it around. Subscribing wouldn't hurt either. It's not rocket science, but it really makes a huge difference for us. Thanks for watching. See you soon with more amazing videos.
All right, so that was the end of that video from Epic Economist. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the scriptures a bit and touch on a few things dealing with famine, right? And dealing with different things that I, touched on during the video. Okay. So we're going to start off with Revelation chapter 18 and verse 7. Okay. And it reads, it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. Now let's pause. Now the she right here is dealing with Babylon the Great. Okay. Which of course is America. Right. Let's start at the top again. It says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. It says, for she saith in her heart, now watch this, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. See, this is that prideful spirit that I said America has, that, the people that are still asleep, they adopted this prideful spirit. Okay, remember the part in the video where the gentleman talking said that, most people pretty much don't know what's going on. And I said those people adopted this prideful spirit of America. And this is the verse I was talking about. Okay, remember the end of this verse says, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. See, that's what America has said in its heart. Okay, and of course the people that rule over this country, which is Edom, the children of Edom. Okay, so the people that actually live here, the majority of the population has adopted that same spirit. Most people don't think this place will ever be destroyed. They think this place is just going to continue forever. Okay, but they're sadly mistaken, right? But anyway, let's move on to the next verse, and let's see what's going to happen to this place. Okay, because that pride is about to be broken. Okay, let's see. Let's look at the next verse here. So moving forward, this is verse 8, and it reads, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Now look at the plagues. Watch this. Death and mourning. Now watch closely. And famine. Allow me to repeat that part. And famine. Okay, so remember, this spirit of America is I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Remember that? But again, the Most High is saying, okay, all those things are going to come to this place. Okay, and within that, we see what? Famine. Okay, so you better believe famine is going to hit this place, and it's right around the corner. Okay, that's why I said amidst all these prophecies unfolding, you can't forget about the famine that's going to hit this place. Okay, but let's finish the verse out. It says, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. Again, the third woe cometh quickly. Remember that? We talked about the 3 world wars. Okay, 2 woes have passed, and behold, the third woe cometh, and it cometh quickly. Okay, this is what it's talking about, that she shall be burned, she shall be utterly burned with fire. Okay, that's World War III. Okay, by way of mainly Russia and its allies. Okay, and of course, America's allies is going to turn against it as well. Okay, pursuant to Revelation, the 17th chapter. Okay, then it goes on to say, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Okay, the Most High Yahweh is going to judge this place. Okay, so now from here, let's move forward. So this is going to be 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. Okay, now this is the verse I was talking about, where I was trying to decipher if it was chapter 16 or chapter 15. But the verse I was talking about is actually in chapter 15. Okay, but chapter 16 does talk about famine as well, and we're going to get that too. Okay, but this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19, and it reads, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, watch closely, because of the lack of bread, aka famine. Okay, and it says, and for great tribulation. Okay, again, in the midst of what? Jacob's trouble. Okay, but remember in the part of the video, it was more towards the beginning, where the gentleman on the Epic Economist video, he was talking about how, different crimes and chaos was on the rise. Okay, And remember I said that sounds a lot like 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Well, it's really supposed to be chapter 15 because this is the verse I was talking about. But yeah, that part of the video is really going into prophecy. Okay, we're starting to see these things unfold. Okay, but let's read it one more time. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, famine. Okay, and for great tribulation. Again, like I've been saying, famine is right around the corner. Okay, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Okay, so from here, let's move forward to chapter 16. Okay, let's get some prophecies on the famine in that chapter. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and we're going to start with verse 17. And it reads, it says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Okay, so we see clearly that this is a future prophecy. Okay, so now with that, let's move forward to the next verse. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is verse 18, and it reads, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Now watch closely. The beginning of famine. Allow me to repeat that part. The beginning of famine. Famine is inevitable. It's coming. Okay? But the beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Now, looking at this is pretty much everything Yahweh Shah prophesied about in Matthew chapter 24. Okay? Remember, after he pretty much gave the 12 disciples the signs of his second coming, what did he say? He said, these are the beginning of sorrows. Now look at what Ezra said here in 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. He said the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Okay, it's pretty much lining up perfectly with what Yahweh Shah said. Okay, letting us know that the Apocrypha, is what they call canon. It's divinely inspired, so to speak. Okay. It's not some made up book. Okay. Again, Esdras, which when you read in the Standard Bible is Ezra, is a prophet. That's why his words are lining up with what Yahweh Shah said in Matthew chapter 24. He's speaking pretty much the same thing. Okay. But we see here within this prophecy, you see what? Famine. Okay. So now let's jump down a bit. Let's jump down to verse 22. Let's take a look at this. And it reads, it says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Allow me to repeat that part. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. It's coming. Whether you believe it or not, it's coming. Whether or not you have that prideful spirit of America that we read about in Revelation chapter 18, you can have that spirit all you want, but that's not going to stop the famine from coming. You can believe that this place is going to continue forever, but it's not. Okay, I'm going to burst your bubble. Okay, this place is not going to continue forever, and the plagues are coming. Okay, and part of that is famine. Okay, let's read it one more time. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Okay, we know the sword, really represents what? The nukes. Okay, that fire that we've already read about. Okay, that's really the ultimate sword that's going to destroy this place. The nukes. Okay, by way of that fire that's coming from the nukes. Okay. So now let's move forward, and we're going to end it in the book of Isaiah. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 13. And it reads, it says, therefore thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Okay, so it's basically contrasting the Israelites that's striving for righteousness. Okay, that's on the Lord's side against the wicked Israelites. Okay, that's rebellious. Okay, so he said, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Letting us know what? That famine is coming. Okay, it says, behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Right? It says, behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Okay, but again, that time is coming where this verse is going to be fulfilled. Okay, those that are on the Lord's side striving for righteousness, okay, you will be taken care of, okay, during Jacob's trouble, right? But those that are not on the Lord's side, those rebellious people, the rebellious Israelites, okay, that's striving for wickedness, okay, they're going to be ashamed. They're going to be hungry and thirsty and things of this nature. The famine will get them, right? And remember what was said in 2nd Esdras, those that don't die by the hunger or by the famine, the sword is going to get them. Okay, but again, that famine is coming. Okay, so be prepared. All right. But anyway, that is going to be the end of this video. And again, the title of the video is Amidst All the Prophecies Unfolding, Don't Forget About the Famine. Okay, because again, really the main two prophecies that's really being talked about right now is really the wars and rumors of wars, and of course the quote unquote chip, the MOTB, right? But amidst all those things, you can't forget about the famine because it's coming. It's right around the corner. Okay, and we went into some of the prophecies dealing with the pending famine that's right around the corner, that's on the way. Okay, and of course we went into the video from Epic Economists talking about the famine that's right around the corner. Okay, and talking about the different absurd plans that the so-called powers that be actually have for us in the very near future. Okay, so these are things to just watch out for. Okay, but the famine is coming. Okay. So with that, and as always, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father. And I do so by Hashem, which means in the name of Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the world knows as Jesus Christ. And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. I hope this video was informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.